The bulls absolutely destroyed bottom shorters, but late longers better be aware of where we are before their euphoria turns into anger. We got exactly what we were expecting from my last weekly outlook. We were looking for an upside move in the form of a multi-zigzag. We were leaning on a completion of A wave before a retrace for B, then a move to our high probability area for C, and it has played out perfect. Bitcoin kind of went according to plan for our scalp long into what we thought would be a pivot high, but it went absolutely bonkers. We have a huge week ahead, so let's dive into the charts and see where we might be headed and what trades we might be able to take advantage of. So looking at the current price action, as Toots mentioned in his last video, the characteristics of this correction have been to break the base channel before rolling over. I'm going to take this one step further and show how these corrections have been rolling over between the 618 and the 707s. And when we look at where we currently are on the 4-hour charts, we've tagged the 707. Zooming in on the micro, I can't help but see this move down as an impulse, and this as a choppy overlapping corrective. So coming back to the original count from my last video of working on the C of Y, I think we're completing the fifth of an ending diag for C before rolling over. Now where I'm wrong here is if we ultimately break the high at 4,100, we would have to then start looking at the chart a little differently and figure out what the data is telling us. Now let's take a look at Bitcoin. Before we do, if you like the content so far, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button because we do weekly outlook for Bitcoin and the SP 500 every Monday to help you navigate the week ahead, as well as midweek videos on different traditional and crypto assets. So Bitcoin's move was an absolute face melter and just a great sight to see after over a year of a bear market with all its shenanigans. When I take a look at the CME on a lower time frame, I see this count on the micro as well as that massive gap below us. That macro support level is right there too. So I think in the immediate degree, we'll see a pullback into support to close that gap before moving higher. But this is where we need to start paying close attention because while this looks like a great move off the low, we're coming into high time frame resistance, and that's not where we want to be a buyer. I'm not gonna lie, the bulls have come to play. If we break this long-term downtrend channel, this is another great sign to go along with what I'm seeing on the micro I'm about to show you. The break of this base channel was super clutch for bulls, but I'd like to see the leg I just mentioned to complete before a larger retrace for the potential wave 4 before that final fifth wave to give us a clean impulse off the low. But even if we get that impulse, we need to be aware of this potential count on the macro, which isn't my favorite because the expansion goes well beyond the expected 1.272 to 1.382 area, but still possible. So the key area is that 24,720 level, we'll say. So the smart and cautious play here is to let the impulse complete and look for a 3-wave move down into support that we can get behind for that upside move. However, if it starts coming down looking like an impulse, we won't want to step in front of the train because we know that if ES is tracking for new lows, Bitcoin is likely to follow. So I'm expecting a bit more upside continuation for Bitcoin and remaining cautiously optimistic on the potential impulse off the low. If you've been following me on Twitter, you know that I've posted a ton of different assets with dollar cost averaging setups on them for this exact reason, because you won't always be able to time the exact bottom. We'll continue to monitor the ES. If it can break the levels we're watching, that's a good sign for Bitcoin. Measured moves are a huge part of my trading, and how I'm able to identify those trades I pointed out earlier. Click this video to watch my last weekly outlook where I show you how to find the pivots and the targets.